Okay, so card number 2 is a bunch of tiny pieces. And I know it's going to look kind of intimidating, but trust me, you guys, it's going to be so cute. So, very first thing is that there is another mouse and some cheese. So you're going to have to fussy cut those again. So, you might as well just go ahead and do that right now since I'm talking about it. It is probably going to be the least fun part of the whole thing is doing the fussy cut. So, we're going to do it and get it done and over with first. Da-da-da. I'm going to do what I did last time, which is I'm going to cut off one of his little lips there. I know it's weird. Only one of them, just cut straight across. So then that way you have just a pointy little nose instead. And then we'll just add a little dot for his nose. And I did cut off the tail, just like I always do. So then you can always draw it back in. Okay, so we got the little mouse. And now we're going to cut out the cheese. I'm going to cut out the little holes, just the little side parts. I don't have my tiny little hole punch with me to cut out the tiny little holes there. Okay, mouse and cheese. I'm going to go ahead and take a moment here and draw a line here under his little chin and the little nose for his little mouse nose. Okay, great. So now we got that guy taken care of. All right, so now for the card, we have the inside that says find happiness in the little things. It's pretty fun and sweet. So the front is going to be a charcuterie board or charcuterie board or a meat and cheese plate, however you want to say that. So that's what this little board is. It's a little bit textured. It's very weird. It kind of feels like a very light sandpaper. I love the paper. It's very cool. It makes me very happy. This is kind of a board. Now, this ribbon, which is going to kind of go in the background here, just to add a little bit of texture so the background isn't so boring, it kind of reminded me of Swiss cheese a little bit, which is why I chose it. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to put that kind of in the middle and slightly to the right there. Whoops. Sorry, I bumped you. I'm going to put some double-sided tape here on the back of my little board. I'm going to put it on all 4 sides there, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stick that down. And the idea here is it's going to hold that, well, it might hold some of it because we're going to need to put some more double-sided tape on the back side of that. But the idea is that we can stick that in place there, and the ribbon will kind of hold in place. If you really would like that to stick in place a little bit more, you can use some glue just on the thicker parts of that texture, and you can just hold that in place for about 10 seconds. I'm just going to sit that there and just let the thicker viscosity of that glue bond it while I work on the rest of the card. Oh, I'm going to have to hold that down, aren't I? Oh, waiting for glue to dry. For those of you that know me, you know that that's one of my least favorite things to do. Waiting for the glue to dry. Okay, while I'm waiting on that, we're going to go ahead and put our little mousy guy down here in the corner. And we're going to stick him here, giving us enough little space to draw his little tail on the side. I realize I made his nose a little bit too big, so I need to trim down his little face just a little bit because it's just a little bit too thick. There we go. All right, I'm going to add a tiny little dot of glue on his little hand and then place his little cheese on his hand. Okay. I cut off a little bit too much of the black part of his ear here, his little outline, so I'm going to fill that in. And we're going to go ahead and draw his little tail, making sure that kind of looks like it connects at least. Okay, so now we have our little mousey at the bottom there. All right, so now we have all these other little pieces here. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you what's going on here. So we have our meat, quote unquote, and we have a second kind of meat, which is what this is right here. Then we're going to make a little cheese knife, cheese, and some crackers. So you can kind of arrange your pieces there to kind of guide you a little bit. So cheese is 4 different colors. The cheese knife is 2 different shades of gray. The crackers are the 2 shades of beige. And the meat is going to be the 6 little pieces of pink. The pink little circles, I guess. So you can kind of figure out where you want to lay it down. If you want to cut your things out and then kind of arrange them and then glue them down, I highly recommend it. Or you're welcome to watch me through putting it together and then you can glue it down later. I'm just going to lay it out. I'm probably going to put meat down here, my cheese right here and here, my crackers down here. I'm just going to kind of give myself a guide. And I'm going to put my little cheese knife on the right. So since I'm going to start with my cheese knife, I'm going to just cut this so that it's kind of only a third of the length of this piece of brown, this beige right here. It doesn't need to be really very big. I probably gave you guys way too much, but I wanted to make sure I had too much rather than too little. I'm going to use my scissors and round the edge. If you aren't really comfortable with that, you can use an edge of your little one of your little circles here and just kind of follow that edge. I think I'm going to do that because that might give me a little bit better rounded edge here. Oh, there we go. That's not too bad. That's going to go down here. And now if you don't know what a cheese knife looks like, I had to look it up. It's very weird. You're just going to kind of cut at a straight angle. I know, but it's kind of a slight angle, but it's straight. Okay, not curved in any way. We're going to cut two kind of slices, or just kind of like a triangle out of the tip to kind of make kind of a slicey. And then from the underside, this is just so weird. Cheese knives are just weird. We're just going to make like we're just going to cut out the center. I know it just seems so bizarre. Look up what a cheese knife is. This is about as close as I'm going to get doing a little quick craft. Just know that that's cheese knife-esque. Okay, it's weird. I know it's bizarre. Apparently I've never used a cheese knife to really know and capture the idea. Someone told me earlier what it was, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. And then she drew me a picture, and then I looked it up, and I was like, doesn't look exactly like the photo, but I see where you were going there. So, okay, it's not perfect. You may have looked up the cheese knife in order to find something that looks less like a skewer. I'm not sure. I probably should have made my little prongs maybe a little bit tinier, shouldn't I? Should we bail on the cheese knife? No, I'm not going to bail on my cheese knife. I'm just going to make my little prongs a little bit tinier because they really do need to be smaller. Prongs need to be smaller. Maybe you might want to look up what a cheese knife looks like, because then you might be able to kind of replicate that a little bit more. All right. Oh my gosh, this is not going well for my cheese knife, you guys. Do I continue or do I bail on my cheese knife situation? I'm not going to bail on my cheese knife. I'm going to give it one more chance. It's going to look more like a skewer, but it's okay. It's okay. You know what? Sometimes things look awkward, and that's all right. I should not do the cheese knife. We're gonna decide together, you guys. You can decide if you want to put it on or not. I think that I am going to leave it on. I know it's weird. It's super weird. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it as long as possible. I'm going to make it look as knifey as I can. I'm not sure how to make something as knifey as I can. I think that might be as good as I'm going to get. We're going to go with it. If you don't like your cheese knife, it's okay. You don't have to have it on there. You can put some cheese in that location instead. Okay, so that was the cheese knife. That might have been actually the hardest part of the whole thing. I don't know about that, you guys. It's not so bad. All right, so now we're going to move into the cheese. So I have a piece, sorry, ignore my Band-Aid here. We have a piece of paper here, and then we have all the little holes. So my thought, of course, is that we're going to make Swiss cheese. So where the holes are, you're going to make little squares. So, because I didn't do it across the entire thing. So I'm just going to show you on there, just like that. So then you have your Swiss cheese. Okay. So now we're going to make our other different kinds of cheese here. In order to do that, you just cut little triangles like this. You kind of cut, if you're concerned about doing it, you just cut a little square and you just cut it at an angle. So then you end up with little triangles like that. Actually, I like the second ones a lot better than my first ones. The second ones looked quite uniform. The first one looked quite uneven. All right, so I have some cheese there. Then I'm going to take my Swiss here. I'm going to cut these in triangles. So now I end up with some Swiss cheese triangles and some chemical Chevy cheese triangles, which is what this neon yellow is here, I'm calling it. All right, we're gonna do the same thing, cut out some little squares. And a couple more. And we're gonna cut these again all into little triangles. The cheese is all triangles. Okay, so now we can start kind of figuring out where we're going to arrange our cheese. So you can decide if you want, how you want to go about doing that. If you want to arrange it like the different flavors all together. Oops. Or I was going to do my cheese up here. I guess I was going to do 2 rows of cheese. So do I want to do all the different flavors together, or did I want to do like a pattern? So you can kind of decide what you want to do there. Since I have 4 different kinds of cheese, I'm probably going to do a row of them at the top and a row of them right below. So I'm putting down my glue so that I can go ahead and just lay these in place. I'm going to lay them kind of at a little slight angle like this, but lining them up so they're kind of nice and uniform. Oh, they're so cute already. The little cheese. Oh, I'm going to need a little bit more glue there. Underneath that guy. And then we're going to do our Swiss cheese. I'm going to put the holiest one at the very end. Okay. Oh, I'm just gonna overlapping my little cheese. I think I'm gonna, nope, I'm gonna bring that up to the top because it doesn't make sense. All right. Then I'm gonna do my next little bits of cheese here. This chemical neon cheese that is bizarre. Oh, I see I have a little bit too much glue here. Wow, my charcuterie board, I don't even know what this thing is called. I'm not even sure how full I'm going to be able to get it. I might have to leave a couple pieces of cheese off. Oh, am I going to get that on there? Oh my gosh. Yes, I am. That is amazing. Okay. Then I'm going to do my little row of meat over here on the side. Now I'm going to do a pattern here so that you can see all of the colors of the meat. It's kind of fun. I know this is one of those cards that has a lot of little pieces in case you hadn't figured that out yet, which is why the sentiment goes well together. Find happiness in the little things. And also find happiness in putting the little things together. Okay, and now we're going to do some crackers here at the bottom, and I'm just going to cut them into little squares or rectangles there. So I'm going to cut a couple pieces, and the smaller of the 2 pieces, I'm going to have you line that up, and then we're going to trim all of those. They're going to be that same size. So you can line up on top of each of your pieces of the beige paper. And then you're going to just trim those and cut them out. We're going to do that and just line that up again with with the other sheet of beige paper. If you find that you want more crackers for your meat and cheese plate because you find that there's significantly more cheese than there are crackers, you may have noticed, then you might want to, you may find that you want to add more, a different color beige or more crackers. Okay. So, I think this will be just fine for our little scene here. Okay. And I think just because of contrast, because when you put them, all of the beige ones right next to each other, it just kind of looks like one line. It's kind of hard to distinguish. Oh, I'll let you guys see this up close so far. It's pretty cute, actually. I'm pretty happy with it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna once again kind of do a pattern here. I'm just gonna lay down my glue. So I'm gonna start with the lighter, making sure that there's an even amount on the left and on the bottom of the underside of that cracker there. Oh, I just realized that this was the one that got kind of crooked. I really want them to all be the same width so that as you stack them up like this, then it all actually makes sense and it all looks nice together. I see a couple of mine got kind of crooked. Okay, and then we're going to go to the beige. Oh, I'm going to have to do glue every time apparently. And then the lighter. And just do this until you run out of space. And you may have found that you were not able to fit as much onto your charcuterie board, I don't even know how to pronounce that word, as I was, and that's okay. I actually kind of was able to cram quite a bit onto this little board here. Alright, now to do some finishing touches, I'm going to take just a little pen, and I'm just going to add some little dots onto the salami. You don't need to do very many, just kind of a few, kind of look like a little speckle. You can go here and do the same thing on the crackers, but on the crackers you can do a lot more of them because maybe they're like seasoned crackers. Okay. Alright. And then, since I have one tiny little piece of cheese left, let's see. We'll add that on the inside. It's kind of cute. I don't know if you guys noticed I have a little piece of cheese left. So I'm going to add that in, because I thought that was kind of fun. Maybe no one will notice that's cheese. But if they got the rest of this is cheese, then they will. Alright, so there we have it. Tiny charcuterie board. I don't even, again, have no idea how to pronounce it. But there we have it. The tiny little mouse. Find happiness in the little things. Oh, how fun. Alright, you guys, those are today's cheese cards. Pretty fun. Alright, guys, have a fun day. I'll see you later.